After my parents died, my wealthy aunt came to our house and gave my sister and me two choices. One was to become her daughter, and the other was to receive her financial support to go to school. My sister was quick to hug my aunt's arm and call her mommy, eager to become a rich heiress. Even if you become a top student at Harvard or Yale, you'll still end up working for us rich people, she sneered. But my aunt already had a biological daughter. My sister, as a fake heiress, was never truly favored in the family and eventually became a plaything for those rich assholes, catching some nasty STD in the process. I, on the other hand, studied hard for years and successfully got into Harvard. After graduation, I landed a job as an executive at my aunt's company, earning nearly $1 million a year. The day my aunt invited me to a family dinner, my sister completely broke down. She set fire to the mansion, and we both died in the blaze. When I opened my eyes again, we were back on the day my aunt gave us the choice. This time, my sister pushed me forward. As the older sister, I should let my younger sister have the good life. Sis, quickly call her mommy. I stumbled, almost falling to the ground. Turning back, I saw the calculating, smug look in my sister's eyes. I realized I had been reborn. I was back at the turning point of our lives, and my sister has been spoiled by mom and dad. She dreams of being a rich heiress all day long and can't handle any hardship. Why don't you take her in as your daughter? I love to learn and I'm not afraid of hard work. I want to change my destiny with knowledge. Hearing my sister's words, my aunt looked at her with admiration, but when she looked at me, there was a hint of disappointment. Before I could decide, my aunt said, "All right, then the younger sister will come with me, but let me make it clear, although I have money, it doesn't grow on trees. I don't like kids who only know how to spend money and live a luxurious life, so I'll give you a monthly allowance of $10,000. If you can't control yourself and exceed that amount, you'll have to figure it out yourself." My sister's lips curled up and she smiled with a hint of malice. When she was adopted in her past life, my aunt didn't specify a spending limit. She simply gave her a credit card. She used the credit card to spend money like crazy, buying luxury goods, treating people to meals, and enjoying the life of a rich heiress day and night. Later, my aunt found out about this and limited her to $20,000. Now, she deliberately said in front of my aunt that I was spoiled and couldn't handle hardship, constantly worsening my aunt's impression of me. As a result, my allowance was even less than hers in her past life. She secretly gloated, looking at me provocatively. "Sister, you just go ahead and enjoy this kind of life." I realized that my sister had also been reborn in her past life. She thought that I chose to study because I knew in advance that my aunt's family was complicated. She thought that I didn't compete with her and deliberately pushed her into the pit of fire. So this time, she wanted to see me walk the path she chose in her past life. She wanted to see me fall and be crushed into the ground. But there's more than one path in life. In my past life, I was able to change my destiny through studying. In this life, even if there's a mud pit ahead, I can still forge a path. Facing my sister's slander, I didn't care at all. I simply stepped forward and bowed to my aunt to express my gratitude. "And I don't need that much money. $5,000 a month is enough. Before mom and dad died, my sister and I only had $50 a month for living expenses. $2,000 is already a huge sum for me now. You know, my aunt and dad never got along and didn't have any contact before. If it weren't for the pressure of public opinion, she wouldn't have bothered with us two sisters at all. When I was studying in my past life, my aunt only sponsored my tuition. I knew it was better to rely on myself than to ask others, so I didn't ask her for living expenses. Instead, I earned enough money for my living expenses through part-time jobs. Hearing me take the initiative to cut my allowance in half, my sister was shocked for a moment, and then her face was filled with disdain. "Sister, I didn't expect you to be so worldly wise. You can't ask for too much at first. Everything has to be done gradually. When everyone thinks you're sensible, it'll be easier to ask for more benefits from others in the future. It seems dad didn't spoil you for nothing. He even taught you these principles." Seeing that my aunt's impression of me was changing, my sister kept trying to smear me. In her past life, when my aunt came to our house to have us make a choice, faced with my aunt's questions, I was wooden and didn't say a word, just so my sister could be chosen to be a rich heiress. Actually, my aunt was interested in me at that time. She knew that after our parents died, she first had people investigate the situation of us two sisters. I had a good character, good grades, and was diligent. The teachers and neighbors at school kept praising me, but for my sister's sake, I gave up the chance to live a good life. After my sister was adopted by my aunt, she soon cut off contact with me. Whenever I took the initiative to ask her how she was doing, she would pretend that she wasn't doing well, but the voices of flattery and compliments on the other end of the phone told me that that wasn't the case. She was probably worried that I would cling to her. She also thought that her status was noble and that she shouldn't have any contact with me in the slums, otherwise it would lower her status. I didn't care and was relieved to know that she was doing well. Later, I didn't hear from her again until a few years later. When I received a call from her, she started with non-stop abuse, saying that I deliberately guided her to choose to go with my aunt. She blamed me for not telling her that my aunt had a biological daughter. She also said that she soon fell out of favor some time ago. She was set up by the real heiress, sent to the beds of those rich people, and eventually caught some nasty STD. Now she was despised by my aunt and had become the lowest person in the entire mansion. She said it was all my fault. At that time, I was studying for my master's degree. The first thing I thought of was to ask my aunt what was going on, but suddenly I realized what kind of person my sister was. Even if my aunt hated dad, she wouldn't condone her biological daughter hurting my sister. I told her not to think so much, to go to the hospital to get treatment, and to take care of her body before hanging up the phone. Later, after I graduated, I was hired by a top 10 company in the industry with a high salary. When I went to work that day, I realized that this was my aunt's company. It turned out that after I made my choice, her attention to me never stopped. All my hard work over the years had fallen into her eyes. My aunt admired me very much and said that I was very suitable to work in her company. She even admitted that from the beginning she wanted to adopt me. She didn't expect me to give the opportunity to my sister. Now that we couldn't be mother and daughter, we could become close subordinates. She also held a family dinner for me. I saw my sister, whom I hadn't seen for many years. Seeing that I had achieved academic success and was valued by my aunt, my sister didn't have the slightest intention of being happy for me. All she had was deep jealousy. My sister used the excuse of reminiscing with her sister to take me to a room. She grabbed my shoulders and hysterically talked about her years of unwillingness, saying that I had stolen her good future. If it weren't for me, she would be the one who would have been successful. In that moment, I completely recognized her true colors. When I turned to leave, she knocked me unconscious with a desk lamp. She set fire to the room and died with me. Recalling Recalling what happened in my past life, I didn't defend myself against my sisters. Slander at all. Some things don't need to be explained. There will be plenty of opportunities to prove it with facts in the future. Because my sister firmly chose to stay and study, my aunt eventually adopted me. Walking out of the dilapidated alley, I was about to get into the car when my sister ran over quickly and opened the passenger seat door first. "Aunt, please get in." My aunt was slightly stunned and then said speechlessly, "I don't sit in the passenger seat." The smile on my sister's face instantly froze. I calmly opened the back seat door. "The passenger seat is for the assistant. The seat behind the driver's seat is the safest and the most suitable for someone as distinguished as you." And my aunt looked at me appreciatively and got into the car. I followed and got into the car, leaving together. Through the car window, I saw my sister still standing by the road. She had a smug smile on her face as if to say, "It's my turn to be unlucky in this life." I looked away, finding it ridiculous even in her past life. My sister still lived a luxurious life. How could someone who had enjoyed countless days of pleasure possibly be able to settle down and study? Did my sister think that it was easy for me to change my destiny through knowledge? My aunt's family lived in a detached villa. Because I had been there in my past life, I was very calm at this moment. There was no surprise, nor deliberately modified calmness. My aunt was very satisfied with my performance. It turned out that she had been secretly observing my reaction from the beginning. "Scarlett, you will have to see many big occasions if you follow me in the future. I am very satisfied with the calmness you showed just now. You must be like this no matter what happens in the future, you know." "And I know," I agreed without changing my address. I knew that my aunt still had resentment towards my dad in her heart. In fact, my sister was right. I knew that everything had to be done gradually, so I couldn't rush to change my address. My aunt asked again, "How do you view your sister's choice?"